Hi guys, this is Lychee here with another episode of Top Tier Set Reviews. Today I am joined by Tim Tom the Bim Bom. Well, he's here. He's just muted himself because I don't know. Let's just say he's sick. I've also got with
Wait,
me celednb.
well,
Uh, he's there,
did the
and
audio
we
just
have.
stutter for me or
It kind of started for me as well, but
okay?
don't worry about it. And we
Oh,
also have the Salt Hermit.
Hello.
He's here because he likes green cards. Now, as you can see on the screen, we're starting with what is almost certainly the worst color in many ways, and unfortunately, it's also the color that I myself have tested the least. Seeing that this review has come very late, and it's given us all a chance to play with the cards. I think a lot of what we've said, a lot of what we're going to say is going to be less speculation and more experience, which is helpful, I suppose. Before we get started, rants on ratings. Good cards, we go from good to bad, right? So good cards, they're good, you put them in your deck because they're actively good, they help you win the game. We're getting fewer and fewer good ratings these days because card quality is so high. Then we've got playable cards. The vast majority of cards will be in the playable range, which means they can suit your deck. They're usually alright, and I wouldn't fault you for putting it in your deck if you have a reason, but they're not outstanding. They're like the role players. Then we have Niche, which is a card specifically for a certain deck, or a card that only works to support another card. We'll give these to decks that we don't think are particularly good, or cards that go into cards that may not be necessary in specific decks. I don't know if there are too many in yellow or green though. And then lastly, bad. Bad is just, well, they're bad. The cards that are either strictly outclassed by something, or they actively make your game worse. And we also have a couple other ratings. They'll come up if they come up, but I don't know. Yellow and green don't seem to have too much. All right, let's get started. With Worst Girl, Eriri, Truth of Maiden, 1045. It's a climax combo. During your turn, for each of your other game characters, this gains 500 power, so this will usually be 6,500, which is very serviceable for an on-reverse climax combo, which this is. As you can see on the screen, it combos with the wind. When the battle opponent is reversed, if you have the wind in the climax zone, this gains the following ability until the end of your opponent's next turn. So follow me on this one. When this is front attacked, you may choose one of your other characters and this card and bounce them to your hand. So basically it means you can save this card and then another card and get them back to your hand, which is effectively a plus. It's not a particularly strong type of plus because while you are getting playables, they may not necessarily be very good playables. And I mean, you're just going to play it down again the next turn, most likely. That being said, what do you guys think about this reasonable combo?
Is it reasonable?
I think that it is reasonable simply because one copy is quite likely to get you a strict +1. And I think that's worth more than nothing, at the very least.
Yeah, the problem is that you don't have any cards worth bouncing. Really, you have like the on attack assassin that gets big, but that's
I
it's
mean,
like
sure,
the borderline minimum passable thing.
but you're like talking about cards which would put this combo like over the top, right? If you had like
Yeah,
an Armin from Attack on Titan, for example.
yeah. Or
If you
if
had
you have
something
an
like that,
Asura or whatever,
yeah,
then
yeah.
you could talk about this combo. But as is, it's just
As it's still a strict +1 if you just play one of them, though, unless your
yeah. The
opponent has
second
some
one doesn't
big
really
nonsense.
do a lot. It's like Aaron, but way worse. Like Aaron, but not
It's
good.
diminishing
There's no
returns.
there's no card that you really want to bounce either.
Yeah,
It's
that's the
Yeah,
thing. Like this card is I think that it is an objectively powerful effect, but I don't think that there's anything that you're really doing to really strengthen this card. Like, there's not really a great deal you can abuse, and this game is usually about abusing the most broken thing you can. And while this ability is broken, it needs a bit more to push it over the top, I think.
ex-
So when the inevitable set 2 comes out, you should keep an eye out for something that you might be able to abuse with this, or you can continue just having good taste and ignoring this, you know? Keep poison.
The thing is there aren't even great level zeros that you want to bounce.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying with an outlook towards the future.
Yeah.
There are some cards you can think about bouncing. Like there are some really good level zeros in the set, but I don't think they're effects you want to do too many times.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's not anything. There's not anything that you'd want to loop with this.
Well, I mean, like you said, the assassin's not terrible. Yeah. So what can I say? It's
we can just give yellow the collective worst girl rating, and we wouldn't miss out too much.
I do agree. We could just write worst girl. Like I said, I want to note that this is an objectively powerful effect, but there's like these effects need something to carry them. Like it can't just be a plus. Like if Eren didn't get an event as good as movement gear, like if it got say Little Love Rhapsody, it would not be nearly as good a card. And if you don't remember what Little Love Rhapsody does, don't worry, we're about to remind you. I actually think this is like a niche plus card, but this is a really weird rating because I think this has a lot of potential going to the future, but right now it kind of sucks.
Which is something that you can say for a lot of the set, actually.
Agreed. All right, next card. Izumi's beloved Izumi, Tomio's beloved pupil. Oh sorry, I that's wrong. It's what's this? This is Kosaki Maiden's Heart, right? So this is a 3295. You're right. I shouldn't make that joke. Like, I was gonna make a Nisekoi joke, but then I realized that would be really insulting to Nisekoi, and Nisekoi doesn't deserve that treatment, to be quite honest. Like, I'm gonna spoil it for you guys listening. I think this card is a strictly worse version of a 2015 card, which is
to be fair, the card was very good in 2015.
Yeah, but it's not good now. And this card is a modern card. So this card is.
I'm not sure if this card is actually a modern card, and if they just like.
It feels 2 years too outdated.
Yeah, like we could go with the conspiracy theories where like somewhere at Bushi Road watched Saekano, really liked the show, and then drafted up a set in their spare time, and then it was rejected because the set sucked, and then they went to Chaos, but then they wanted to like milk it. Like I could see that totally being the case.
Wait, wasn't it in Primo, or was it both in Primo and Chaos?
It was in both. It was Primo, then Chaos, and now it's in Vice. So conspiracy theories aside, I'll actually read the card. It's a 3/2, comes into play. You search your deck for a game character, which is like everything. For each of your other game characters in the back row, this gains 500 power, so it's 10,500 usually. And if you have 2 or more Little Love Rhapsody in your memory, this gains -1 level in hand. Little Love Rhapsody is freaking terrible, like actually terrible. It's a 1/1 event that reads, oh god, what does it read? It's like check the top card of your deck. If it's a game trait, add it to hand. Send this to memory.
On your turn, during your 5.
Yeah, it's so bad. It's like every single pendant is better than this, I think, including the green one. Like, what the hell? So this is your for playing.
If you want to play around this card, I actually just go play Nisekoi, honestly. Just go play Nisekoi. Just save yourself the trouble.
Like, oh, and you know what's funny? You can play Sweets and then just quote-unquote hard counter this bullshit.
Oh my god.
Yeah, look, this card it's a possible advance summon. I'm not gonna lie. Like, if you already have played the 2 events, it's fine. If you haven't played the 2 events, this is not a double R. This is like an uncommon.
I think this is bad by the virtue of the event making your deck so much worse.
Yeah,
I think
like you can't build a good deck with this in it.
Yeah, you're forced to play like a pretty bad event.
If the event was like 1/0, send this to memory, mill 3, and do something like cantrip somehow.
If it's 1/0, even just to check top thing would be fine.
Mm,
But as is, it's like, uh,
I'm not a fan. I actually think that right now, until another Little Love Rhapsody comes out, this is just bad. I think this makes your deck worse. It's really unfortunate because this is a double R that I opened far too many of.
so if we get another Little Love Rhapsody, you can think about this as is. Don't bother. Just
Yeah,
play an
I
easy
mean,
play or something.
if you
Yeah.
really
And if you like
Izumi,
Izumi, that's tough luck, I
I'm
guess.
sorry for you. I'm sorry for your loss.
yeah, like Izumi is like, no,
Just why? Why?
off. That's off. Like even Eriri has.
Dude,
There's
let's
more
go
to
to
it.
let's go to the next card before I get depression from looking at this even longer.
It's okay. You can get a depression from this as well because it's
Oh.
awesome. 3/2 10k. It's Eriri, Sundera, childhood friend. Come and play heal and climax combo. Discard a card. When this attacks, if you have fake childhood friend, which is a stock soul, I believe, in the climax zone, you may ditch a card from hand. If you do, deal X damage, where X is the number of that same stock soul you have in your waiting room. So this is potentially quite potent. Like sometimes it's you have 2 or 3 of them and they're just burning for 2 on attack for a very cheap cost. I have not played with it very much, but I also know that Saekano does not have very much in the way of free mill. Like, you could get cute and you could play that Kato, which you clock hand to mill 3 and take a card. That could be a thing. Then you heal down, of course. But other than that, there's not a great deal of free mill, and
There's
as a
basically,
result,
I mean, you have the Magi, which lets you mill when you play the stock zone because you don't need stock going into your turn. But really, you have a sore lack of anything else. You have the runner, which
I mean,
you
I
can
prefer to
start
have
up
this
send to
control.
stock, but it's not free mill. And the problem is that if you want to make this card like stronger, so that it burns for 2 or 3, so it actually becomes like reasonable, you're also getting yourself closer to the refresh, and you just like dumped all your resources. So even though you healed down, you'll probably just die the next turn anyways.
Yes.
I do think that this is a undercosted burn for what it's worth. I just think it's really irritating to work with, and I mean the Eriri, the waifu deck really wants an Armin type clone, so you can like bounce it and you can abuse, this milling effect in general. But right now, I think this might be, I mean, this might be the strongest finisher in the set if everything comes together, but that's not saying very much.
The
I think this
drawbacks
set's
of-
finishes are subpar at best, and downright bad at worst. Like the Michiru finisher sometimes actively hurts your chances of winning if your opponent doesn't have any climaxes left. Like that's just really frustrating.
I mean, if they don't
yeah,
have any climaxes left, you just don't use the effect.
you don't play the climax, but
No, you
that's
can
not
still play the
something you
climax,
have
but the
to do.
burn is optional, I'm pretty sure. Like the mill 4 cards.
You sure about that?
I'm not 100% on that, but I think so.
Nope, it is mandatory.
Right.
So don't play the climax. Yeah, basically, this card
The
by
thing that
itself,
didn't come up yet.
it's like playable. It's like, it's not terrible. Certainly better than the last level 3 we talked about. But I would not put it in my deck right now. I don't think that's the direction you take Saekano.
I agree.
There's a lack of support for this, yeah. So niche, I guess.
Everything is screaming set 2.
Yeah, exactly. Like, if you just had a yellow Asura, that would solve so many issues with yellow.
Yeah.
And the whole set, quite honest.
Honestly, they'll probably just give you a yellow Armin, like just literally like a clone of Armin or something.
I assume so, yeah. That would be fine as well.
I'd be fine with that, yeah. Honestly.
I mean, it would be Eriri, so I'd be very unhappy playing it, but it would make the deck better, so...
It would check for only yellow, and
Yeah.
then solve none of the issues.
If it checks for Literal Love Rhapsody, sure, I guess.
I
Better
mean,
probably.
Eriri is in 2 colors, so that doesn't actually make sense. So it would just be game trait. Anyway, next card is Airy. Fond Memory is a 0/0 rare. When it's placed from hand to stage, give a game trait 2k power. It's fine, it's not bad. And when this is reversed in battle, you may pay 1, ditch a card from hand, and send this to memory. If you do, search your deck for a game character added to hand. So it's an on-reverse memory searcher, which is, fine. Not particularly good, not particularly bad. And it even has a very, I actually think that's a pretty powerful effect for a random utility 0 to have. So it just has...
This card is hella undercosted.
Yeah, well, I don't know about undercosted, because
No.
2k power...
The drop search ability costs 2k power.
No,
the memory drop searcher.
1/5.
Yeah, but for memory, on reverse memory searchers, costs 2k.
Oh, it's 1/5.
Are you sure? Like the ancient beat searchers are 1k.
The railgun one is 1/5.
Right. Wait, where are the ancient beat searchers 1k?
I don't know. Maybe it has.
Maybe it's because it's music. I don't know. But that doesn't actually.
One of them searches music and the other said okay. Maybe both of those are text. Sure.
Maybe it searches 2 traits. I don't know.
No, they only search 1 each. If you search 2 traits, then it costs like a shit ton.
Harroware searches Esper and no trait.
Yeah.
So.
Nonetheless, I think the card's okay. Card's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think it's fine. I wouldn't
think the card is actually pretty good if you like had any need for it, or would need to have to fix yellow or like reverse or I don't know.
Yeah, it's alright.
It's like good early game to set up your combo, and then like good mid to late game to like help you push over stuff. As is, you just don't really have any need for it. But I think the card itself is pretty good.
You could definitely do worse. Like I do think this has, it's like you said, it's a bit over spec for what it does. I don't have it in any of my lists, but that's because I don't have the specific need that for a card like this. Like I have plenty of power, I have plenty of searching ability. Yeah.
And it's also Airy.
Oh, I see. So the Angel Beats one must have been power crept because it's Sedokai, which is a trait in multiple sets. Kappa.
Okay.
Alright,
next card, Izumi, Surprise Presence. So what do we give that card? I give it a playable. It's like
that's playable. Oh yeah, this card though.
This card is like pretty solid. Izumi's 0/1k.
Yeah, this card's good.
At the beginning of your opponent's attack phase, you may mill a card. If it's a game trade, you may move this to an empty slot, and then you can, as a startup effect, so when it's on the field, pay 1, send this to memory, check the top 4 cards of your deck, choose one of your choose a game character you find to add it to your hand.
That's good.
It's a good card.
Or playable plus, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's actually good minus. It's a bit better than your standard level 0+ because of this card gives you so much utility. It's just so helpful for so many reasons. I had my doubts at first. Like I was playing a red-blue deck and I had 2 of this and 2 of the Icy Tail Runner, and after 3 games I immediately changed back to 4 of this because this card is just so much better. Ignoring the fact that it's a runner, sometimes it doesn't really get the job done because it's only 1k, your opponent can easily tri-field, but if they do, then Saekano's a deck very well equipped to get prepared early and rush your opponent, so that's not a big deal. The second effect is fantastic text for a runner to have, because runners are usually there to like color fix and be random costless ram cards in the end game. This card has way more than that. Like sometimes it just gets you the card you need, and it's at a reasonable cost. It's like marginal compression, I suppose. I think this is an excellent card. The only thing holding it back is its low power, and that really can't be helped. Like this is a lot of utility. Yep. And I think
this is also one of your few ways of milling.
Yeah.
So
I think it's good
to have that on your oversight.
I think it's better than playable plus. Yeah, I do agree with good minus. Yeah. This card's just so good.
If you guys want to call it good,
it can be good minus.
Like, this is
card's great.
in the situations where your opponent just goes utility beater and then kills your 1k and you aren't able to mount an offense, like that can be problematic. But I think that extends to most decks.
I mean,
So
it's
I'm
the
not
same
gonna...
with the Thing Runner, with the Konosuba Runner, but that's still a good card.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Like I don't dock too many points for that either way.
Another
Okay.
cute thing that you can do, because this is a mill runner, not like a free runner. There's a 0/0 Utaha that checks top on the beginning of the opponent's draw step.
Oh yeah.
That bounces back, and so you can check for the runner whether the runner hits for sure, or if it's a climax, you can just leave it there. And it even extends to like mid to late game, where you get like free information or free mills of characters.
Oh, that's pretty
We'll
cute.
get to those cards. We'll get to those cards. Like the 0/0 Utaha has lots of stupid, cute interactions that aren't actually like powerful, but they make you feel really good when you do it. Like
Yeah.
when you stand by in and then bounce it back and you've effectively in a row, like it's really stupid. Anyway, that card, good mind. Next card, Eriri, someone to separate the two. This card is, what are they trying to do? It's a 0/0 2k. It has assist, gives all level 0 or lower characters 1k power. So it's a 1k support for level 0s. And then during attack phase, when someone salvages, that player's characters gain -3 soul for the turn.
This card gave me depression. No, not gonna lie.
I'm just unhappy this card exists. I do not believe that there's a level 1 card which gets -1 level on the field. I don't think that exists in this set.
No, it
No.
doesn't.
This card just feels very lost.
Yeah, like it doesn't do
Maybe it was intended to be with the runner, but then who cares at that point?
I don't even think it was, because we have a 3/5 resonance runner in the set,
Oh yeah.
and this only makes that a 3k. This is like just not a
Man.
good card.
And someone care about depression.
This is like the one dud foil I opened in my boxes. This is it's, just.
It's not even a good looking foil, it's just regular art, I think.
No. They ripped it from the ending of the first season. It's where she's in the. It's
Oh,
in the
where
ending.
she's running. Okay.
No. Where she's sitting there eating something, I think.
Really? She's
Yeah. Yeah, it's not a bad looking foil because of the pastel colors, but it's like not a good card. So
That's the only thing going for it. Just put it in your binder and keep it there.
No, I'm not putting it in my binder. That's disgusting. Next card, Area of Blessing Software. So this is a much better card, but that's really not saying much. It's a 0/0 2k. It is a Brainstorm, and when it comes, so it's tap 2 Brainstorm. For every climax you hit, search for a game trait. And the effect, the other effect it has is comes to play. Check the top 2 cards of your deck, put them back in the same order, so you have a bit of insight as to whether you should brainstorm or not that turn. Oftentimes, if you need to brainstorm first deck, then it's because you need to mill, not because you're looking to hit. But hey, it gives you a little bit of insight. That aside, I think this is probably just worse than the Megumi Brainstorm. Simply because that one gives an additional pretty okay effect, and because it only taps self. Yeah, what can I say?
Obviously.
The Megami Brainstorm goes better in the Megami deck. This goes better in... What does it go better in? Like, I guess the yellow deck.
Eriri 1/0 obviously was intended to be played with 1/0 Eriri. Maybe to check your triggers. I don't know for sure.
I think if yellow was a color you'd want to fix for, then maybe. Well, I guess you still have the runner for that. I don't know. I haven't put this into any decks really, because I just default to the Megami Brainstorm.
Yeah, the Megami Brainstorm I think is just better.
It's a Brainstorm. If you
It's like a playable plus.
One of the reasons is probably because most of the decks I've built have been with standby. So if you don't play Climax this turn to have the Amagi bounce itself, you wanna keep an empty slot somewhere.
Yeah.
And there is a way you can build your deck where you can get those empty slots in the front row during attack step, but not every deck is built like that. So in those other decks, you want to keep something empty in the back row, which you can't really do with this.
If you're running the Utaha Amagi, then I don't think you also need a Brainstorm. Like, I've cut my Brainstorm count down because the Utaha pulls a lot of weight early, and ultimately you just have a Brainstorm when you need it. If you don't need it, then you don't have
Brainstorm
one
is
on standby.
Brainstorm is nice for selection later on because
I mean,
the deck
sure.
lacks that later.
I mean, later on, well, in my build, you don't need to select anything. Your field is just a bunch of 2-1s. But
yeah,
fair
but
enough.
you still need your level 3s from somewhere.
Well, you just hold them because you need to resonate with them anyway.
You still need to draw into them at one point.
Yeah, sure. Like you draw into them or you Amagi into them or whatever. It's not a big deal. Either way, this card still is like a playable because it is still a Brainstorm. I just don't know where you put it. Alright. Eriri, Confronting the Past. 002k, when it's placed from hand to stage, mill 2. If there's a climax there, this gains 3k for the turn, going to 5k. And when this is placed from hand to stage, you may ditch a card. If so, add a Little Love Rhapsody from your waiting room to hand. Okay, so the first effect is neat. And that's the only effect it actually has.
It's like they're trying to sugarcoat Little Love Rhapsody, but no, it's fun. It's still bad.
No,
yeah, I
for some reason, Bushiroad values the mill 2 cards gain power pretty highly. It's
I don't think it's actually a good effect.
Yeah, I don't think it's good. Like this one is even worse because it has to hit a climax to get power. The others usually get 1k per character.
Yeah, those are usually better. This is just not.
But even those aren't good.
I mean, the mill 2 is what you're looking for if you're playing this, right?
Yeah.
But you can't, like, a lot of the way you get cards in the standby deck is by standbying, so it doesn't even get the mill on standby. So Amagi's still usually better in that case. I don't know. I'm just not a fan. I think this is a niche card for obvious reasons. Maybe if Little Love Rhapsody comes out and is better, then we can talk. For now,
wouldn't this be bad by extension of you probably playing this because of Little Love Rhapsody, which by extension makes you play the Izumi, or rather because you played Little Love Rhapsody?
The problem is you got so little costless mill that this actually curves back around to being a consideration simply for the first one. So it's niche.
Sure.
But that's like really bad reasoning, and I could totally see this just not being playable at all. I mean, I don't ever intend to play it. It's just not my thing. Alright, next card, Izumi, Morning of the Battle. When this is placed from hand to stage, you may pay 1, clock yourself. Ooh. Everyone excited? If so, search your deck for up to 1 game character whose level is equal to or lower than your level, and whose cost is 0 or lower. It's sounding good so far, and put it in any start on stage. I had a really upsetting. I had a. Sorry. I just want to tell this upsetting story.
Yeah, sure.
Where I was playing an early rush deck with 2 different katos, and I used this to like get all the cards out and everything. And on my first rush turn, I trigger a climax first. But I did a lot of damage, right? So I had one of this in my hand. I'm like, okay, so I'm just gonna chain Ricky's and get that climax out, and then I'm just gonna go again. But then I realized you can't chain Ricky's with this. I can't pay out all my stock with this card, and that made me extremely upset because I had to play Ricky anyway. And with that, you can talk about how irritating this card is.
Well, I do think I tried playing this card. I think I've tested around 10-15 games, so not that much, but it's I feel like with this, try fielding say Kato combo, and this was like so much easier. But like, apart from that, I don't feel like there's much juice afterwards. It's just like you're sad afterwards. But like for that turn where you play your stock soul and you go through and you play combo, it's okay. I'd say playable.
I think this is like fine. I was bitching about it earlier, but I think that for most decks, this just gets you what you need. It ignores color, which is meaningful, and something that's pretty cool is that there's a lot of different decks you can build that want different colors on the board at level 1. Like there's a cool Airy in green that combos with Utahs of the sort. And you can also get the Climax combo Kato early, which is really strong, and I think it's a pretty potent rush deck for whatever that's worth. And as a result, this is like a playable plus to me. Like I think it's more than fine.
If you play a level 1 combo, you play this. If you don't play a level 1 combo, it becomes like a lot less of a card you'd want to put in.
There's a lot less value, yeah. Like so many times where like I just played this on 0 just for the tri-field factor, and afterwards when I see, I just clock it, use it as level fodder. Like there's no use after 0 in my opinion, just because like your level 1 probably has no combo for Saekano.
I mean, if you play like either the Utaha Stock Soul combo or if you play the Megumi at 0 with the Stock Soul, then this makes sense, because those decks also want to assemble multiple pieces. But you don't just willy-nilly put this into any deck like you would with a normal Ricky clone.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's restricted, but ultimately it's still
it's aight, yeah.
It's fine. I think it's like playable plus, something like that. Okay, next card, Izumi, Fancy Wave. It's a 0/02k. When displayed from hand to stage, give a game trait 1,500 power for the turn.
This card makes me very angry.
Why?
Because they've printed a strictly better version in the same set on the same rarity slot.
In the same color.
Yeah,
in the same color.
In the same color too.
So this is actually just a bad rare, because it's strictly outclassed.
It's not strictly outclassed actually.
Well, the runner is weaker as an attacker by itself.
No. Not the runner. The
not the runner. The memory
this
is weaker.
The thing this can do over that is this can pump itself, so it can be a 3,500 attacker. That cannot.
Sure, but effectively this is just worse.
Yeah, in the vast majority of situations, this is worse. Like, it's strictly worse, is what I think. Because you have way more choices for, like, costless beaters and stuff. As a result, I think this is strictly outclassed, and it's bad.
Yeah.
Yes.
Eriri, Panicking. It's a 1/05k. When this attacks, if you have any cards in your memory, so via the memory searcher or via Little Love Rhapsody, this gains X power for the turn, where X is 500 times the number of your game characters. I don't understand why they had to do this, because we have cards that simply attack as 7/5s without this problematic requirement. Is this actually just a 2015 card that they designed and didn't release? Am I missing something?
It's just depression, man. It's just depression.
I think the most likely targets are probably like the Salvage Ricky or the Runner.
Yeah.
But
honestly, there's
none of these are like enticing.
There's another card that does literally the same thing that bypasses recollection. Like, you just play it on the board and it just gets it. Like, why go through all the hassle?
It's red,
this
right?
This probably won't live through another turn. I guess you could play this as 1/0 Airy, sure, and then what, right? Like, it's not much value. I'd rather just play the other card.
This has like the I guess advantage of like every attacks is 7/5 instead of just like the last one.
Yeah, sure.
Not like that's worth the drawback, but
is it worth the 500 like worth a drawback? I don't think so.
Yeah.
It's super niche. I call it niche. But like, I don't think
it's only for the waifu deck. I don't think any other deck plays it.
And if you play the waifu deck, why have you not killed yourself yet?
Dude, I told you, dude. Every time I play this deck, I have Clorox right next to me.
It's I don't think that would kill you. Tradition. You need a lot more than just a bottle.
A truckload.
You need several bottles. Don't get any silly ideas. Either way, Naish is what I'm giving it. Airy, rejecting the proposal. I hate this card.
Oh my god, this card.
I like the flavor. I hate everything else about it. It's a 002K. When this is placed from hand stage, you may discard a copy of Tomoya's Proposal. That's an event counter, I believe.
It's an event
and-
counter and it's a 2/2. There's a 2/2 with it as well.
Oh, is it?
A
There's
2/2 salvage too. Like, there's two.
Yeah, there's a
Oh
third.
yes,
Yeah.
the one that combos with the Utah. That's right.
Well,
Oh sure.
both combo with both.
Yeah, but that one is more specifically for the Utah, I guess, because
Yeah.
of the art.
Yeah.
Either way, you discard a copy of Tomoya's Proposal, and you can search a game trait from your deck to hand. Now that's actually not bad. Like that's a costless search. As a costless as in you don't have to pay stock. The only caveat being you have to be discarding this event. Now the 2/2 salvage event isn't even bad. Like I don't think that sort of profile is automatically terrible. Like there are lots of decks which can very easily use it. And I think that the green-red Saekano deck does build up the stock to be the sort of deck that wants to do that. Well, I mean, even the one focusing more on red at level 1 gets to do that. The one that uses the Utah combo definitely gets the stock. Either way. The effect is fine. The event and the fact that you have to play this otherwise uninteresting level 0, it takes up a lot of room. That's my issue. And that's honestly the only real issue about it.
I think the other level 0 is better because that one can be a plus, like a straight costless plus.
Sure.
Which I
that's
guess
fair
is
enough.
my issue with this level 0.
The other one also has Utah on it, so
Yeah.
automatically better.
It would be interesting if the event was like more playable, more like something
Like if-
you'd
if
actually
it
want
was-
to put into your deck.
If it was
Then
like
you
a
could think
costless
about it.
event, like barrels, like if it was barrels for sure, like but these two,
No, well,
Like
well, if
35.
it was barrels, you don't really want to ditch those
yeah, that is true.
anyways. But
That is
if it's like a late game event that you want to play like money counter or something.
If
Yeah,
it
I
was
do
like
think-
New Year's
I do think-
Kiss, that would be.
I do think the 2/2 counter is
Yeah,
alright.
New Year's Kiss or something. New Year's Kiss would be great with this, for example. But
I do think the 2/2 counter is alright. It's just really up to the deck that you're piloting.
Wait,
at that point.
2/2 counter.
2-2 event. It means 2-2
2/2
event.
event, yeah, the 2/2
Okay.
event. My bad.
Okay.
I agree.
Uh,
Like this is niche. This is niche either way. Like I don't think that's disputable. Alright, next card, Izumi, Outpouring of Talent. It's a 105k. When the battle opponent is reversed, you may send this to memory. If so, at the start of your next draw phase, choose a copy of this card in your memory and put in any slot on stage. This is Usual Haruhi. Usual Haruhi, I actually played the actual Usual Haruhi last week in my Endless 8 deck, and it pulled a lot of weight there. That being said, it's because the rest of the cards in the Endless 8 deck are complete garbage. So this card is only good when you compare it to garbage, which might actually be the case with Saekano. I don't think this is a card that works with anything. Like, the problem with these cards is that although they are quote-unquote free climax combo-less advantage, you're opening yourself up to so much in your first deck. Like if your opponent has a non-reverse plussing combo and they just get to direct in and then you eat 2 of those attacks and they've gone, like they've plussed, that's an enormous tempo swing. That's a huge blow to you. And you usually can't afford that. And for that reason, I don't think this card is very good at the moment. Again, it is still high ceiling. If you do cancel like Sack, this card is great. If you don't cancel like Sack, this card is terrible. So this is like a niche card, in my opinion.
Is there anything else to say?
I mean, if you've ever played with this card, then
Yeah.
you'll know exactly what
Well,
I'm talking
most of
about.
my experience is like from Index, but I've also played with Usual Haruhi.
I've
Like
played
those
Time
even
Machine.
get to attack is bigger than 5k. This just attacks as a 5k, which makes it even worse. And even those cards are barely okay.
You probably could have like some startup shenanigans with it, but like, is it worth it? I don't think so.
I
Next turn, you
think that
probably
if
just
you're
need
doing
tons of damage, and then you're just like sad. You're like, oh,
Yeah.
this wasn't worth it at all.
yeah,
There's
you're
also
gonna
just not a
have Sack.
shelf for this. Like if you play this, you'd want to play yellow at level 1, so you're playing the Airy combo. But the Airy combo bounces your cards anyways. So
It's so counterproductive.
Nice combo, idiot. Yeah, so not really working well with anything, no synergy. A fair bit of raw power, but you know, double-edged sword cuts you as well. Alright, next card. Eriri, everyone in camp. It's a 1/1/1/5/5. Gains 500 to every other game character and has 500 so it's 7/5 basically, and has character encore. So the first thing that you might think is that, oh, this must be the standby target, right?
There's
No,
a better one.
because
There's better.
yes, there's a better one. And the second thing is, I do not believe the gains 500 for every other is a good standby target. Especially like a lot of the time you won't even have a full field with standby. Well, from what I've played anyway, in this specific set. And even then, like, this isn't over the top. This is still just the worst version of SAO at this point. Like, I don't know why you'd bother with this. You might play this just as a 1/1/7/5 with Encore, like that's fine, but don't get too many ideas about standby, there's a better target. I don't know, it's like Naish.
Oh, there's not much to say.
Yeah, it's pretty
It's like-
well,
it's basically like almost all of the yellow cards. Just play it if you have bad taste, and that's it.
It's like your standard stuff.
yeah, like everyone knows what these 1/1/7/5s are. They're kind of big, they're kind of mean, and they're kind of good with standby, except there's a better one with standby. So let's move to the next card. Tomoya, Price of Otaku, 2/1/5k. Assist, all of your game characters in front of this gain 500 power and 1 soul. And it's a 1-cost bond to the 3/2 Eriri. Okay, so
Yeah.
do you have anything to say about this? Because I have a little soapbox to go on about this card. I think this card is completely misevaluated by people who put it in the standby
I
deck.
do like the first
after trying
effect.
it.
I do like the
Well,
first
yeah,
effect.
the first
effect
effect is fine, but I think but it's also kind of a trap.
Yeah, so put it
Because
this way.
Yeah.
No, you go for it.
Yeah, there's just better targets for you to grab in like most of the decks. So Stand this actually doesn't really
Like
have
this
a lot of
card.
value at all.
Yeah, I agree. This card, if you're thinking, oh, I'll make up for the deficit with standby by standbying this in, and then 2 of my rows will have +1 soul. Oh, I'm such a genius. The thing is, you could just play like a gate, and then it would do the same thing. You'd get that soul rush, and then the next turn you'd be able to do like if you're trying to make up for the disadvantages of standby by playing a card that's like whatever, I think you're doing it wrong. When you play a standby deck, you're not looking to make up for your shortcomings. You're looking to high roll as high as possible, because look, that's just how you win with standby. You get ahead, you stay ahead, and you control the board, and you start swinging for 2/2/2 into empty lanes every single turn. This is not the way you do it. You go with the blue package in this set, in my opinion. So while this card looks like it could be good, I would not actually play it in the standby deck. Now, as for playing it in like a yellow deck running the Eriri level 3, I don't know, maybe it's usable. I haven't tested it.
Yeah, but at that point, why don't you just go play Unlimited Blade Works?
Yeah, pretty much. You could play like mono.
Oh my
You
god.
could play Shiro near and dear to my heart and to celednb's heart, and it'd probably be better, to be quite honest, because that one, like, instead of bonding to level 3, changes straight into the level 3, and then you just go off. Yeah, I'm not a fan of this card. I'm not a fan of this card.
I think the card itself is fine. I think it's just not very good with what we have.
I don't think it does anything in any shell. That's the problem. If there was like an Airy that gained some crazy amount of power with like a Tomoya on the field, or I don't know, then maybe you consider the card, but otherwise it's really not what you're looking for. Okay.
I think this makes most sense
Let's
in the
move on.
yellow deck.
Well, I mean, what do you guys rate the soul support?
Niche with potential.
How kind are you, I guess is my question. I've got it as Naish.
The only
because
dude in the set plus.
I think it's Naish
is it
because
the only card he got?
No, he has cards in
No. He's got card. Yeah, he's got a red card at the very least. I know because I was sorting cards.
He's got a red card. He's got like.
But none of the other cards are like okay, right?
No, they're not.
No.
Well, they're not worth playing at any rate. Okay, next card. Izumi.
If you want to play Tomoya, this is your best bet.
Yeah, quite likely. Oh no, isn't there? No, wait, there's not a counter. Never mind. Izumi 004K. Strong Obsession. When this is placed from hand to stage, if your opponent has 3 or more climax cards in their waiting room, rest this card.
This profile sucks.
Do I need to talk about this effect? It can sometimes screw you over. It's not significantly better than other 0/0 oversizes. It's probably slightly better at being a turn 1+ than the runner, but is that really worth it?
In the whole game, it's probably more detrimental than it will be beneficial.
Yeah, if you played a large enough sample size.
I mean, we've had this in Kanta, and in Kanta you were sort of forced to play this because it was an early play condition, and there it feels absolutely terrible.
I played it in Kanta, and right after it feels so sad. Every time you draw, you're just like, man, there has to be like some other card that's better than this. I used to play it. It felt really bad.
Yeah, well, I'm not a huge fan. Either way, what's the next card? Izumi, Being of Admiration. It's a 1/0/4/5. For each of your other Eriri tracksuit and glasses, it is a 1/0 vanilla. In the front row, this gains 4K power. So this can be a 12. Your other 2 rows to be 1/0 vanillas.
Maybe if it was like a stock font to it. If it was like
I don't want to say anything else.
apples on steroids, maybe, but as it is, no.
Just play Airy combo, man. Oh, man, I don't know.
It's front row only. It's front row only.
Oh,
can't even just this is just terrible. Don't do yellow. I guess don't do yellow. So this and the vanilla both get a bad rating from me because I don't think I ever want to see this in my hand ever. It just makes me upset.
What a great effect against glasses. All right, moving on.
Yeah, it's because Will's not here, so this is a detriment because this makes Ash stronger. So this is bad minus. Izumi, Little Sister type Kohai. It's a 1/1/4/5. Assist gives all game characters a level assist, and climax combo when friend, foe, or new character, which I don't actually know what that is. The shot, I guess.
Shot, yeah.
Yeah, it's a shot.
Add to place to the climax zone, give another character the ability, on reverse, mill top 4, add 1 game character, add it to hand. So it's like
This effect is usually on level 0s. Why is this on busted level 1?
It's on a 1.
It's not a bad 1/1. Like level X is not a terrible.
By no means a bad 1/1, but like if you play it, you just feel bad though, don't you?
Okay, so let's so in the
so you play this with the memory thing, with the time machine.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
But let's suspend our disbelief for now, and let's talk about the deck this would go in. So it would be like a pseudo Izumi waifu deck. So the idea is to play the 3/2 Izumi, like unironically, the 1/0 Izumi that we just talked about, and power it up with the 1/0 Eriri vanilla. And then the 12/5 is going to kill something. Like that's like it's just going to kill something, right? And then you can play your 3/2s. So you have let's put it all together. You've paid 1 for this support, 2 for your terrible event that might not even have cantripped you, all to get a 3/2 level. I've been as accommodating as I can, but I've got limits. Like this is not playable in any sense of the word right now. I do not think this is a card you ever want in your deck, and as a result, I've got it as a bad.
Yeah, sorry. I have the foil
Alright.
shot.
That's your problem, not mine. Eriri, disguise at an event. It's a 2/1 3k backup. When you use the backup of this, mill your opponent for 3 cards. It's
I
neither
actually
here nor
like
there.
this secondary effect, but it's not really necessary.
Yeah, this might be good in Precious Memories. The art of this card is good in Precious Memories, is what I'm being informed of. Unfortunately, we don't play Precious Memories, only real anime card games here.
Basically, because you have the anti-change sack counter, which is a good 2/1 counter, you don't play this. Otherwise, you could think about playing this. I think the secondary effect is decent. Just better options out there, so you just don't play this.
Yep.
Niche, I guess, and you play it in like shit taste waifu decks.
Sounds about right. Okay then, next card. Izumi, first time selling out. It's a 2/1 7k. When this is placed from hand stage, it gains X power, where X is 1k times the number of your game tree characters, so you know, everything. And climax combo. When this attacks, if you've got the, I don't even know what that climax is. I didn't even know there was another climax. It is a soul again. If you've got a stock soul in the climax zone, then gotta get back to the card. Look up to 2 cards from the top of your deck. Add up to 2 game characters you find there to your hand. And the rest of anyone. I don't know. It's okay, I guess.
Has anyone actually played this?
I don't think so. In the entire world, I do not believe a single person in the world has played this card now.
It attacks as a 12k. Which is
Congratulations.
Izumi
That's
Waifu
nice.
has 2 combos, I didn't know that.
Yeah, Izumi combo. Yeah, Izumi Waifu has 2 combos, I guess. You put in Izumi Waifu.
That's a lot of stock that I don't know where you're getting from.
It's the combo's a stock soul, right? You know, I don't know. Maybe you just play.
Yeah, but like
stock
you need
soul.
the 1/1 and then this and then.
Yeah, I don't. It's not.
Actually, in Izumi Waifu, you'd wanna like spam the early play, so this feels lost.
Yeah.
It's also anti-synergy with the event.
This is like me.
Oh
Probably
yeah,
just
you're
bad.
just gonna look at the top as 2 events you just said.
This is just bad. There's like
man.
not even in the waifu deck you can play this, so there's no place for this at all.
Okay, sure. That sounds about right. We'll call it that. Eriri, staring, 2/1 7/5. When this attacks, if you have 2 or more cards in memory, it gains
It's just
a
bad.
whole bunch of.
God,
Yeah, I'm not building towards this.
this is.
You basically need to play Little Love Rhapsody to get this card activated. Well, I guess you can just have the Salvage Ricky and fill up half your level 0 slots with garbage. I guess the Utah Ricky's not the Utah Salvage Ricky's not garbage, but the on-reverse search is like barely playable.
It's
I don't
the
know.
on-reverse search is decent.
Yeah, you need way too many cards in your level 0 to consistently get this to be oversized. And
Well,
while it might
oversized,
get-
it's just 12/5. It's not that big.
12/5 as a 1 cost is pretty good, I think.
It's 2 costs. Oh no, it's 1 cost.
It's 1 cost,
Yeah.
but
So it's
Yeah.
going to be like 13/5 because you've got 2 Little Love Rhapsodies in memory. Just don't forget about that.
and then it
Kappa.
dies on your own turn. Kappa.
Oh no, you bounce it back. With
Oh yeah,
the
you
Airy.
bounce it back with the area. Yeah, look at this value. No, it's not actually
Oh.
value. Don't
I
listen
hate
to
all of this. This is niche in my opinion. I'm being really nice. It's like niche is not what it should be, but I'm going to be nice. It's
for
niche.
this. But this is
Easy.
too.
No, the tutu I haven't seen yet. Izumi, special middle school student. For each of your other game characters in the background, just gains 1/5, and then discarding. It's got game character encore. So I guess they wanted this to be your standby target. Too bad it's not actually a good one.
I didn't even know this existed, and I was very confused. Like after I found out this existed, I was very confused why the Megumi was 2K for a point.
Yeah, I do hear arguments for this card because this card's basically 10K the whole time, whereas your Megumi may not be.
Yeah, my Megumi usually is just like 8/5 or 9/5.
Yeah, so like technically this card is more consistent with just sticking on the board.
Yeah, but you see, if I'm playing standby, I'm going to be trying for 14/5s, not 10Ks. So you can keep your bad tutu if you want. I'll just be over here with my 14/5s.
By the way, going back to the Airy, isn't the SAO like the one from before that gains power times the number of characters? SAO has like the climax swapper. That's also 7/5 base. That has the same type of text without the
without recollection. Yeah, without recollection. Yeah.
And it has another ability. How does that work?
It's a 2/1 Shinon, right?
Yeah.
That's what
I think it has to be attacking a level 3. It has to attack a level 3, I think.
Oh, it has to. Okay.
Well,
yeah, it doesn't just
that
get power.
Sense.
Yeah, it has to attack level 3.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay then. Next card. We're up to the events, are we? Or did we rate the tutu, the quote-unquote standby target?
It's between playable and niche. I don't know actually, dude. It's probably niche.
It's interesting. I think niche is fine for it.
Yeah. I think this has like some sort of merit, especially as like a budget option to the tutu Megumi, because like the tutu Megumi isn't like $10 better than this.
Yep.
Yeah. All right.
Oh,
next card, Tomoyo's proposal, 1/1 counter, 3/5 event counter. I mean, what do you want me to say? You don't have any big cards aside from 1/1 to counter. I don't think there are any good startup thingies in yellow.
The climax combos are like 4/5 in defense, so this just gets them up to 8K.
They also just bounce back to your hand. Okay, I'm being told it's not a startup anyway. That is, of course, correct. I'm an idiot. So you know what? To rate this card, I'm just going to read out the flavor. I'm dying to find out how someone would arrive at such a nonsensical, stupid, downright painful notion. Can we move on?
This is the ditch target for the zeros. So
yes, it is a ditch target for the zero, and you can also bond it back, I believe. I believe you can.
Yeah. The Uta does that. The Uta does that. Yeah.
Yes, with the Uta, but it's paid.
No, the Eriri. The Airy is the ditch bond to this.
Oh no.
That bonds to Little Love Rhapsody. Yeah.
No, there is a Tomoya that bonds to this.
Okay.
It's paid
there's your other Tomoya husbando deck option. If you can even feel it.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep, we got that. Alright, next card. Look, I don't think this goes anywhere, so I do not think this is like playable. It's like niche, I guess. And that's really generous.
I really think it's alright.
Little Love Rhapsody is bad. We already went over this.
Freaking bad. I'm not gonna be nice to this.
I was talking about Tomoyo's proposal. Little Love Rhapsody, I'm not going to be nice to. So it's a 1/1 event.
We already talked about this.
Right? We have talked about this. So just to talk about it some more, if you miss your cantrip, which, I mean, oh my god, it's not even game character, it's manga or event. Oh, so that's only Eriri and Izumi and events then, isn't it? Yes. So, okay, so you only miss if it's a climax. That's a bit better than I was thinking, but it's still pretty terrible. So it's 1/1, hopefully draw a card, and all of your characters gain a permanent 500 on your turn. Not
all your manga characters.
So all your manga
yellow.
Eriri and Izumi.
Yeah.
Sadness.
Okay.
Yeah,
Let's
I'm
move
not a
on.
fan. Eri Kashwagi's Little Love message board. It is a 1-1 event. Again, got 3 for whatever reason. If you have no game characters, you can't play this from hand. This is like my least favorite fake restriction. It just doesn't mean anything. I really, really hate this restriction. Search a deck for up to 1 game character, add it to your hand, then send this to memory. Yes, send this to memory. And at the start of your main phase, if this is in memory, you may discard a climax from your hand. If you do, bounce this card to your hand. So this is okay. It's kind of like a yellow pendant with upside. The problem is yellow pendant had good targets to get in yellow. I don't think this really has good targets to get.
If you
I
don't
do
have your
think-
climax combo yet.
I mean, if you've got your climax combo, if you don't have your climax combo, sure, I guess.
The problem with the climax combo is that, or rather with this event, is that your climax combo scales really badly. So there's not really a need for this. Especially when you have like the Ricky, which is just straight plus.
It's a waste.
I mean, that only gets you cost 0. I mean, you've got the brainstorm for everything else and a mark,
Yeah.
I guess. I don't know. Yellow as a
it can
whole
be neat as a
seems...
ditch out, but
I don't think you have the resources to just sustain playing so many one-costed things.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. There's too much cost involved in yellow, and then the costless cards aren't particularly good either, which is really depressing. And then they want all these different cards work with different events, and it doesn't seem cohesive. Like, I'd have to build and test it, and I don't think that's worth my time. So I guess it's gonna go unplayed until the next booster comes out. So we'll see. I think yellow as a
if
whole...
the next booster comes out and you play something like this, then you probably just burn all your cards.
I will actually order a truckload of Clorox.
Yellow is not particularly impressive. Anyway, that brings us to the end of yellow, and we'll be back soonish with green.